Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Are You Screening podcast. I'm your host, AreYouScreening.com's own Mark Eastman, and with me, as always, is co-host extraordinaire Shane Leonard.
Hello.
And this week, it's on to the worst, which...
I'm waiting for this.
The worst is... Not that this even needs to be said, but the worst is always like spoiled for choice, right? Like the best has varying years.
Right.
Some years you're like, oh my God, I got too many things or whatever. And some you're like, how do I get 10? Or, there's like variation. The worst is just always...
Just bobbing for bad apples.
Yeah, it's a matter of like maybe how truly bad the things are.
Yeah.
Are these really like... going for worst of the decade list or whatever.
Yeah, right.
But there's always like plenty to choose from.
Yeah,
right.
Right.
But having said that, this year it was like the worst of both worlds in a way.
Yeah.
Because there are so many movies that I feel like are just absolutely in the hunt for worst of the decade.
Yeah.
But also, I didn't have that many. I didn't have that many movies that I was like, I have to find a way to get this on the worst list. I didn't have like a lot of extras over here going at any time. This could
I had a
jump
few
right
extras.
in.
Yeah.
I had some, but in keeping with last week where I kind of looked around to see what other people were. And I like to do that. I like to check out some other lists just because, especially for worst.
Yeah.
Because, I might have just blocked something out of my mind.
It's possible we've done this.
Even just like looking through all the movies, like I'll go through everything that came out that year. Yeah. And seriously, like my mind I might not even be able to read it right.
I can't remember what it was. We've both done this where somebody said something and went, oh God. And you look quickly at your list and you're like, can I move 4 to 5? Where do I, it happens. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, it's not like your mind isn't actively trying to get rid of those movies because it is.
It is. It's trying to dump the bad memories.
It's trying to save you from those.
Yeah,
so, but,
that's true.
But this year, so I looked through some other movies and I have to say, I have some things to talk about before we jump into the actual numbers, because there are some, here's the honorable mention of suck movies, right?
Yeah.
But also I have some movies that I have to mention again, kind of like last week, because they were on a lot of people's lists. And I was like, come on.
Yeah. Right.
They're worst of movies.
Yeah.
Before we jump into that, and hopefully as I bag on people putting those on their worst list, they won't be on yours.
They might be on mine.
Before we get into that, I just want to throw out really quickly, because it's everywhere.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just me. I don't know. Maybe it just seems like it's
when you're
everywhere.
Like, it's everywhere. Or maybe it's me.
Yeah.
Like you can't quite tell.
Maybe it's just everywhere to me or something.
Yeah.
But this Variety article on Sinners and how everyone is just trying to take them down a few pegs for doing this. And even like Ben Stiller has a post that's going viral where he was like, what is happening, that this is the Variety headline, because because the headline on Variety is says something about Sinners gets 45 million in the first weekend, but we have to put a big asterisk on that because I don't know, it's still got a long way to go, and like all this, whatever, right? Where people are like comparing that to other similar things, right? And it was, I think the one that really kind of like took off and got a lot of attention was, the Brad Pitt Hollywood, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood had like basically the same budget, made 40 million in its opening weekend, and the Variety headline is like, it's a hit. Like this movie is taking off like a skyrocket, and whatever the actual article is, but it was this like super positive, look, it did awesome.
Right.
And meanwhile, Sinners, which is, okay, it's got a similar budget, but it's also like, y kind of just like a smaller thing in a way.
Yeah.
I mean, it has things about the production and the studio that is behind it and,
Right.
whatever, like, for a million reasons.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, spot the difference,
Right.
between the and I have to just say, it is the most psycho headline.
Yeah.
It's just bonkers that that becomes the story of this movie with I mean, if you look at varying articles, people will be like, it has a $90 million budget, so it's basically exactly the same as
Right.
Once Upon a Time. Or it has like $130 million budget or $150 million budget, and
Right.
it's like, what are we counting as
Right.
the budget and
Right.
all this stuff? And so, how long does it have to go? It's gonna not probably do that well internationally, and like just the fact
Yeah.
that we are like taking
Talking
all
this.
these pieces of this movie and trying like any freaking way we can
Yeah.
to say that this is like not that great, even though it seems like it is.
Even though it's the talk and making
That
money
is
and
just bonkers. And I'll tell you too,
yeah, that's so weird.
even just what it's getting for critical ratings, what the cinema score is on it, and all this stuff. I don't think I have seen a movie, and like this is very weirdly specific, but on social media, I
Yeah.
don't think I have seen a movie where I have seen more people say they're going to see it again
Yeah. Right.
in like at least a decade. I
Yeah.
mean,
Wow.
it's been forever. I've seen, I get all sorts of things where, people say they love movies all the
Yeah.
time. There are a lot of people talking about this that I see though,
Yeah.
compared to a lot of other movies that come out. But I have seen so many people talk about how they're going to see it again.
Yeah.
And I've seen so many people who, he was a really big guy. He was crying. He said he loved it, whatever. But
Right. Right.
it's all just my own anecdotal BS. But I've seen so many people who said that they saw it and they're gonna try and find a way to see it on IMAX
Yeah.
or, just whatever. Like
Wow.
like people are into this movie.
Wow.
And then that's what they get
Right.
is that article. I'm
Yeah.
like, man, you are just not actually reading the room for one
Either
thing, but
tone
also
deaf.
it's just completely, it's like psychotically unfair
Right.
that, what other movie came out, no matter what it made,
And met that
where
metric.
we started picking apart all these
Yeah.
pieces of, I have to find a way to say that it's not that
Yeah.
great. It's so weird.
Yeah.
It is really, really weird.
It's a weird grudge to carry somewhere behind the scenes.
Right.
It's either not reading the room or it's just trying to it feels like it may just be desperately trying to grab some spotlight on the coattails of the success of this, where people are looking up like, I want to see some articles, I want to see some reviews.
Yeah.
And you're just sort of like, what?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
It's like
Not that
turning
you can't be critical.
it's like
but why would
turning
you do
your
it
own
that way?
article bad to be clickbait on purpose
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
But so when you get something like that and people start going, I wonder what the difference is between these movies, it is really hard not to go, it's totally obvious what the
Yeah.
difference is between these movies. And
Yeah.
it's just, I don't know, Variety is going to be
Yeah.
having some explaining to do for a long time
Yeah.
because, like I said, Ben Stiller he's gone way viral on it, and so is everyone
Yeah.
else responding to him
It's not
and
just
all these
like
people.
us from our basement.
Yeah,
or
it's not
Mike
just
at
like
Mike's
Bob.
News. It's
Right,
people
yeah.
who are like, hey, what the
Yeah,
hell?
it's really crazy.
Oh, that's weird.
And so that said, we will be doing that
Gotta catch it.
next week.
Yeah.
But definitely like go see this movie. I don't think it's going to be out of theaters for a while because I bet it's going to keep that going for quite a while. So
Yeah. Wow.
anyway, go see that.
That's awesome.
So the worst of the year. So I have some movies like I said, that I want to talk about. And first of all, there are a few movies that I just have to say, like I said, it it feels weird to me that they're on worst
People's lists.
list.
All right.
And I will throw out this caveat just because I said it'll suck if they're on your list, right?
Right.
And I will throw this out because my best and worst lists are more or less everything of the year. My worst lists are never everything of the year because I just don't go see it. Like if I do my worst list and you're like, you didn't see this, I'll go, yep, I didn't see it.
Well, we've done that.
I don't go see everything.
There's been stuff even just last year where you ran through and I went, I'm glad I missed that. Like there was some really awful Sandler film or Paul Blart kind of thing. And I'm like, I'm glad you let me go.
Right. And that is, that's the caveat there is that you just don't see absolutely everything to the extent that I do. So, and that factors in even more on worst list. So like one movie that I saw on a lot of people's lists was
one of them.
Red One. And I think almost everyone who mentioned that Red One was on their list mentioned that it had $250 million budget, which doesn't make the movie worse.
No.
But if I didn't like Red One, we both had lots of problems with Red One.
Yeah.
But if you think Red One is one of the worst movies of the year, like go see more movies.
Yeah, you didn't see enough films.
I mean, it's not good. It's lacking in a lot of ways, and a lot of the things about it are just really kind of comically stupid. And it doesn't, for me, work even well enough to go, look, man, this is for little kids.
Yeah.
Because it's not, because it could have easily easily avoided a lot of people not liking it if it were just for a slightly younger audience, whatever. But for me, it doesn't make it.
That's an interesting caveat too, because if somebody sees 25 films a year, they can put 10 on their front list.
Right.
And they're like, well, these others have to be, if I rank them, because they confuse the top 10 and then the bottom 10 as being the worst of the year. That's not it. You have a top 20. Right. Like that's different than having 10 worst films. You just haven't seen enough movies.
Yeah.
And you haven't seen some of the dogs that we have.
Yeah.
That one would be weird.
And the other one for me, another one for me that was like in a similar boat, I guess, is the Megamind versus the Dream Syndicate. And this one is for me exactly in the Red One place, like that Red One could have been in.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't good. It also is pretty specifically for a younger audience, even than the first one. And the first one was like a little bit kind of for a younger audience anyway. It wasn't quite, because it was maybe a little bit more talking to people.
Yeah.
But if Megamind's on your worst list, then
come on, you're swinging. You got something to swing.
This is the worst episode of Bob the Builder I ever saw, and I'm gonna brag on it for a while. I mean, it wasn't good. But it was okay. It wasn't like, oh my God, I hate myself because I watched this or whatever. It wasn't terrible.
When I'm doing my list, I can look at that and be like, did I see 9 or 10 worse than that? Yeah.
Right.
So that just gets pushed. Like, it's not that bad.
Yeah. And, okay. So, another one that it didn't really almost make my list, and it kind of follows in a theme here.
Yeah.
But also it is really bad, is Harold and the Purple Crayon, which Harold and the Purple Crayon should get automatically exempted because it is really definitely for a younger audience, right?
Yeah.
It's very much for a younger crowd.
Yeah.
But also, Zachary Levi is just weird in it to such an extent that it is really hard to watch. He's so weird in it. He's got like this affect going on in his acting in it where it just feels so weirdly fake.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know. It's almost like he got plastic surgery to have like this happy expression or something or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. But it's not good. And I wish it was, because it's a cool story. Zooey Deschanel's in it,
Yep.
and I like her. She's cool,
Right.
and I don't know, but it's just weird. But it's kind of, despite the fact that it should get a pass, was pretty close to being on my list because
Yeah.
it's so bad. Okay, so then just a few other movies that are pretty bad, but I don't even know if I would say like they're like 11 and 12, like they just missed my list or
Right.
something.
Right.
Um, but those are Borderlands, which everyone hates.
You wanted to see that for a while, and 'cause
Yeah,
I remember we
I
were
like the
talking.
games.
Yeah, you were talking. You were
Uh,
like, "We should try to get to see this," and I'm like, If we can do it, let's do it." And we didn't, but you
right.
did see it, and it no good, like nothing.
Yeah, so my take on that movie actually is that it's not as bad as everyone says. Because
'Cause it just missed.
it got trashed.
It did
Right?
get trashed.
It's on a lot of
Yeah.
people's worst list.
Yeah.
And I feel like it didn't really get a fair shake. I
Yeah.
think it's not good for sure.
Yeah.
But also, and I could be totally biased because I'm a fan of the games.
Right.
So, I don't know, take this with a grain of salt. It could just be me, but it wasn't good, but I feel like this is the kind of an adaptation from a game
Yeah.
where, if you have nothing to do with the game or never even heard of them before, like you're just not going to like this movie.
There's
And
nothing
that's
to tie you
not
to it.
necessarily a fault of the movie, I don't
Right.
think, right? Like this movie is not like we're going to adapt this, sort of like World of Warcraft tried to do, where it's like,
Mhm.
it doesn't matter if you know anything about the
Right.
games. This is just like a movie, and it
Right.
just happens. It's just in
We'll
this
Easter egg
world
you if you know, but
or whatever,
otherwise,
right?
yeah, right.
Like it's not the same thing as that. It's really like you kind of had to
Like the game.
not only know the games,
Like
but
the
you had to
game.
like them, right?
Yeah.
Because you could easily not like the games
Yeah.
because they're kind of screwball video
Yeah.
games too. But anyway, I don't know. I don't think that one
Got a fair,
deserves
right.
what it got really, because I really feel like there are some things that you make into a movie that, you can't judge them quite that way.
Yeah.
It's almost for me, like this is not to compare this is, but like the original Dune movie
Yeah.
is like, I didn't read the book and I didn't like the movie. Well, guess what?
Right.
It's wasn't made for you, right?
Right.
It's like that movie
Yeah.
is so like it should just have a disclaimer. at the
You also
beginning.
walk in, you're like, "I don't like David Lynch." And you're like, "What the hell are you here for?"
Right.
"I don't like sci-fi." You're like, "I got high hopes for this one."
Right.
Like you can stack the deck so many times
Yeah,
until you're like the pawn, like until you're really personifying Pauline Kael. You're like,
Right.
you just want to hate something. Well, come on in.
Right.
Like, oh my God.
And then also like this one's not good either, but it wasn't quite bad enough, but it's Lift with Kevin Hart.
Oh yeah.
It's
I forgot about Lyft.
it's bad.
I didn't forget
Okay.
about it
It's
enough.
bad in like a very specific way, I think.
Yeah.
It's bad because for me, one of the reasons it's really bad is it's not nearly funny enough. But it's
Yeah.
bad in the sense that everything it does, you've seen 10 times before in other movies, and it's
Mhm.
just splicing them all together to make money.
Yeah.
So that is bad.
Yep.
Right. But then, on another level, it's not quite as bad as everyone hates it.
Yeah,
It's just
It's not good.
It's
but-
really powerfully lacking in positives. But it's also, like it's not calling you stupid. It doesn't have delusions of grandeur.
Right.
Kevin Hart's not coming out on the press tour going, "This is the best movie that's
Right.
ever been made,"
Right.
or whatever. I don't know. It's not good. And then two more real quick. One is Kraven the Hunter,
Yeah.
which is bad.
Yeah.
For sure. It is definitely bad. It was pretty close to being on my list, probably.
Yeah.
But it didn't make it on my list.
Right.
It's
That's the closest.
there
Probably
are kind of almost positives to it, but it's really bad.
There are positives to that film.
yeah.
That film is not. I totally agree. That film is
Yeah.
not rancid all the way through.
And then the last one I'm going to mention before we jump in is Here, the movie with Tom Hanks, Robin Wright,
Right.
Robert Zemeckis. It is also, something I would have to say is like fantastically bad, but it just didn't quite make my
I
list.
skipped that one on purpose. I mean, if we had done it for the show, obviously I would have seen it, but I tried to avoid that one.
It is
I just didn't want to have it.
it didn't, like I said, it just missed my list.
Yeah.
It's very close to being on my list. It's
Right.
really horrible. And for a couple of very specific reasons. One is that everything about the movie is just trying to make you kind of have a certain emotion
Yeah.
in like the most obnoxious way
Right.
that it possibly can.
Right.
With like
Yeah.
just everything thrown at the wall at the same time.
Yeah.
Whether it makes for a good movie or story or character or
Who
whatever,
cares? Like, just
doesn't
try.
make any
Yeah.
difference.
Yeah.
It's
That
just do all this
sucks.
stuff. And I found it almost like offensive to the original
Yeah.
work. Like it's a graphic novel that is weird and really cool.
Yeah.
And this is like, you know, when somebody like reads a book and goes, I have a better idea.
Yeah. Right.
Like, sure, I know you think this is good,
Right.
but that's only because
Watch me improve
right.
all the things that you failed. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's
So,
frustrating.
yeah, and it was just, it's hard to sit through. It is like really kind of painful. So that's my preamble-y things.
My quick, and we'll go quick because we want to try to keep the show where it's supposed to be in the time frame, and it's easy for us to. I mean, I love list time. I love your list. I love my list. We could rehash lists, but the quick ones that didn't quite make it for me, and this might sound a little strange for some of them, but A Family Affair, which is the Nicole Kidman, Zac Efron, Joey King sort of torrid romance that was bumbling and clumsy. Captain America Brave New World had a shot for a small amount of time, so did Roadhouse. Time Cut, which was sort of fun at first. That's one of these Netflix, I think it was Netflix, not Prime.
Oh yeah.
And it was just real derivative of a film that had come out on Netflix like 2 years ago.
Right.
I mean, it was the same movie, it was just cast different. Nosferatu came really close, and for people that heard our review of it, they might have been pretty sure that it was going to make my list.
Yeah.
It just missed. Killer Heat, which is the Shailene Woodley detective story, which I friggin' despised almost all the way through. Carry On. Craven had a chance to make the bottom of the list. I actually liked Craven, might have been the one that I liked the most that was the worst. Like it just, I mean, I like Aaron Taylor Johnson. It just, that film rubbed me the wrong way on almost every level. But A Real Pain, which I think surprises some people because that's on many people's best list. That came so close to making the bottom. I thought you were going to mention one film, which was A Real Pain or The Brutalist. The Brutalist didn't really come close, but it was on the list. I had to remove it, and I removed it quick because I'm like, I hate others more than this.
Yeah.
But it was there.
I just have to say real quick.
Yeah.
I thought about The Brutalist for quite a long time, and I think if you watched our review of The Brutalist, you might really expect that it would be there. And at the end of the day, when I really started thinking about the worst, I was in this like position where it was bad again. Like I just said, it was bad purely for not having positives.
Yeah.
Like I didn't really think there were like negatives, except, I mean, I think the story goes on like too long and stuff like that. But as far as like really badness factors, it just wasn't pulling itself down like close enough. It's I don't particularly recommend watching it unless you really know what you're getting into.
Right.
But yeah, so it wasn't on my list.
The other thing too, I got two more quick ones. The other thing is when I take something like The Brutalist or A Real Pain and I hold it up against the 10 that are on my list, I can, without emotion, like, I just hated it. I hate them. I don't like them. I don't like that guy or that girl. I can, I think, reasonably discuss why it is a bad movie.
Right.
The Brutalist is one of these things where I rather enjoyed the very long first half, and I almost completely disliked the entire second half after the intermission. And doesn't that kind of cancel it out? Doesn't that mean it isn't the worst movie? It's just sort of like,
Right.
Ryan Reynolds has 2 spots here. If almost made the worst list. Because it really just that cheesy, fake fakeness of things. And hilariously, Deadpool and Wolverine, which also just missed my best list. Now that's going to
Right.
sound confusing. It was right near the middle of things. I think I rated the movie like a 4. But again, when I'm cutting everything out of the list and I start looking at the low numbers, I'm like, all right, well, this has got to go and that's got to go. It's not that bad,
Right.
but it just missed.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's the just missed, and
That's cool.
dive into the real list in a sec.
Yeah. Okay. So I just want to say real quick before we get into the numbers, about doing the list.
Yeah.
And, if you've listened to us for a while, I hate making lists. You love making lists.
Yeah.
Whole, whatever. For me, the worst list is, I guess, the most counter to my ability to think, right? Like, because judging if things that are this bad are, and this one's slightly worse.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like, it just means nothing to me, right?
It's everything to me.
If you have,
I love it.
if you have movies that
Yeah.
are this bad and you're gonna hate them,
Yeah.
and you've got like 1, 2, 3, 4 worst movies that
Yeah.
ever happened in a year that I'm even saying is particularly bad, right?
Yeah.
Then it's like, okay, this one's 3 and this one's 2, but they're not nearly as bad as 1. I'm like, you might as well just be speaking a language I don't understand. I don't have any idea
Yeah.
what's happening there. So I tried to do this like
Yeah.
weird thing
This
like
cracks
that
me up, man.
that I've never done before, right?
Oh,
I had a bunch of movies,
yeah.
and I'm like, these are all in there somewhere, and it's like too many,
Right.
Whatever. And I just put them all at number 5, like they were all number 5.
And then you start moving them.
And then I went,
You're playing the Price is Right. You're
and
just
then I
putting
went,
prices
okay,
in
is this
places.
one more than this? And I'm like, and then I'd go back to
This is
it and
great.
back to it,
Yes.
and whatever.
Yeah.
And here's what happened.
Yeah.
and,
This is
and it's a weird thing. So my list goes to 11 in a weird way, right? Like, because of the way that I did this, and I just kept,
Right.
whatever, over and over and over, things would, whatever. And then something would make it like off the list.
Yeah.
And then I'd go, well, that's off the list, right? It's
Right.
like-
Right. That's how it works.
And there were 2 things that I could not get
You
off of
pulled.
5.
Yeah. Right.
So
Yeah.
I've got 2 things
You've
that
got
are
a tie.
5
Yeah.
because I was like, because then I'd look at what was 6 and I'd look at what was 4 and I'd go,
Can't move. We've done this a long time. You've had 2 years that I know of that you definitely cheated and had a tie.
yeah.
But hey, that's your list. I respect
I
lists.
had-
Sometimes that has to happen.
I've had at least 2 years where my best list had like 2 things for 10.
10.
And I would
Yep.
just go, look, man,
It's never been a tie
They
for anything in the
both
top
are-
3. Yeah.
they both
Excuse
are.
me.
I'm going to give
That's really
Okay,
funny.
so,
oh man, that's
with
a riot.
miles and miles of preamble to this.
Yeah.
My number, so we're just going to go back and forth
Yep.
like we did with the best list. My number 10 is Axel F, which
That's right.
I liked about 15 minutes of that. I
Yeah.
actually could say, damn it, I kind of like that.
Yeah.
Like there was a couple of things, and even though I got like a weird reaction when I said this when we covered the movie, like I liked Bronson Pinchot
Yeah.
being
God,
in it.
that's-
It just was
one of the things
cool
I
for me. But there were like some moments where I was like, come on. And everything else I hated. Like absolutely everything else. I didn't even not like it. I like hated it. I
Yeah.
was like, I'm not even trying to like, toot my own horn or whatever, but I'm like, I could have taken this and just made the opposite decision like 50 times
Right.
and had a better movie.
Right.
And it was like infuriating to watch. And especially as you get to like the last 20 minutes.
Yeah.
The last 20 minutes, I swear to God, like somebody won a contest and was like,
Script the end.
right the end of our movie. And you're like, what the? And it gets so embarrassingly stupid that it's like unwatchable. I mean, it's just horrible.
You saying, well, go ahead.
No, that's fine. So
you
that's fine.
saying there's 15 minutes in there, and I'm like, not concurrent though.
No.
Like there's a minute there,
No.
there's 3
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Like I feel the same way. There's probably 20 minutes of great film in there, and then the rest I'm like, stupid fan service, ignorant writing, lazy filmmaking, uninspired motion, just all
And
bad
if
stuff.
this,
I can't believe it didn't make my just missed either. I I remember removing it, but I remember not hating it that bad. But
Oh yeah, I completely hated it. But you know, the weird thing is there's so much total fan service in this movie that is like so many years past the fan service. It's
yeah,
like if this movie, you know, the first couple of these are really good
yeah,
in the Beverly Hills Cop
yeah,
thing. The first couple of them are really good, and then it, you know, goes on kind of too long. If this movie would have came out like maybe we waited like 4 years and then
yeah,
came out with this, we would have got something better. They would have done something better. It
yeah,
still might suck.
yeah,
It still might be a horrible movie, but it wouldn't have been as bad as this because
yeah.
the fan service is so far removed from anything to do with this. Like this is like fan service of one where it's for Eddie Murphy, right?
Right, right,
It's like
right.
I mean it's so
Yeah.
anyway. All right, so that's my 10.
10 for you. 10 for me is the parenting. This was I don't think this one even went to the theater. This was either straight to Amazon or straight to Netflix or straight to Max. Maybe I actually think it was Max. Got a hell of a cast, and it was directed by the guy who did one of my favorite films from years ago, um, The Skeleton Twins.
Oh
Um,
wow.
so I thought, you know, and this is supposed to be sort of like in the vein of like a Saturday the 14th, if anyone's old enough to remember those old, like goofy throwback slapstick horror films.
Right.
Parker Posey, Lisa Kudrow, Dean Norris, Brian Cox. I'm blanking on like half of the awesome cast that's in there. Um, I am gonna look because I'm gonna cheat. Edie Falco. Just I mean, like I start rattling these
Right,
things
right.
off, and you're like, I don't care what the film is. An absolutely awful, atrocious film that is only funny for maybe 6 minutes when Brian Cox is being Brian Cox, and
Yeah.
it's just awful.
Wow.
Um, 9 for me is Space Cadet, which in a weird way, I actually wondered if we had both forgotten, and I did until I started looking at my list, and I made a big asterisk when I wrote it down.
Yeah.
I was like, Emma Roberts, Space Cadet, don't forget.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I also wrote it down sort of in the way that I'm like, the way that Spy is only funny because of Jason Statham, but don't forget how bad this film is.
Right,
So
right.
in that vein,
Yeah.
9 for me is Space Cadet.
Yeah, I would I'll say right now, Space Cadet is not on my list, even though I'll give it to you, because it's really horrible.
Yeah.
Um, but, you know, something about that movie kind of just, like, removed it from the list for me,
Sometimes they can be so
just
bad.
because I'm like, you know, but is it really not for 10-year-olds? Like, it didn't mean to be for
I know.
10-year-olds, but I
I know.
almost just felt like,
Sometimes I feel bad
I
punching at things, but
right,
no,
exactly.
no, I hated
Yeah.
this one. So that was my 9.
All
Your
right.
9.
My 9 is Madam Web, which almost got the same treatment,
Yeah.
right? Because I was like, look, I don't care what this movie says. It's for 10-year-old girls.
Right.
And so how mean am I going to be to it?
Yeah.
Except that like it just vehemently declares that it's
It
not.
told you, hey,
It
take me
just
seriously.
it won't take a break
Yeah.
from standing up and going, "No, I'm not.
Yeah.
Damn it. I'm a real movie."
Right.
You
Right.
know?
Yeah.
And if it had just not done that, I would have went, "Hey, look,
You're
I
forgiven.
mean,
You
yeah,
get a pardon. Yeah.
but not only is it just fantastically bad, and I hate to bag on this movie, because the music is our local composer,
Yeah.
gets to be and not like I mean, he's like a big deal. It's not like
Right.
it's not like
Right.
Bob, our composer, in like, you know, our town of 60 people or something.
Right.
God, what's his name? Richmond.
Right.
And he's great,
Yeah.
right? And I'll even give him the music in it. I mean,
Right.
it's not my
Solid.
favorite
Right.
music,
But
but
it works.
it's good, right?
Yeah.
So it makes my skin itch a little
Yeah.
to like bag on it too hard and
Right.
say it's like the worst thing ever.
Right.
But it first of all, if it would have just said, look, we're kind of for preteens or whatever,
Yeah.
but also, I mean, my God, the movie just thinks that it's so great
Yeah.
that you can't what can you do? You can't give it a break because it just keeps going, "No, look, I'm awesome,"
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And, the dialogue is so
Yeah.
bonkers in this movie. This movie could be on the worst list for me anyway, on dialogue alone. This is like dialogue in a movie where it's like, have you talked to anyone ever before? Or
Yeah.
even, like, been
Yeah.
around anyone talking? I'm like, no one would say any of this,
Right.
least of all these characters.
Right.
Like, they would never say any of
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
It's so goofy, but also just, I mean, overall, it's donkey story. So that okay,
So
that's my 9.
that's your 9.
My 8
Yep.
is Argyle,
Yeah.
which is in a similar place where I would have loved to like this movie.
Yeah.
If this movie were made like in the early 90s, somebody else would have made this exact script.
Yep.
If we were lucky, we'd have had a cast like
this
to do it.
What a cast.
And it would have been one of my favorite movies.
Yeah. Yeah.
It would have been just an awesome
Yep.
movie. This movie, like, you know, declared it was going to have multiple sequels before it ever came out.
Oh yeah.
Never stopped telling me how awesome it was. Right? The whole movie
The new
just
super franchise.
the whole movie just like goes on, like proclaiming itself this awesome thing.
Yeah.
And it's just, I mean, it's sad at a
Yeah.
certain point. It's like,
Yeah.
what the hell are you talking about? And it is so serious about everything that it tries to do
Yeah.
that if it weren't for Sam Rockwell being in this movie,
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd have been able to finish it.
Yeah.
Because it's so stupid
God, he's good.
while telling me it's good.
Yeah.
Everything he's in is awesome, though. He's great in this movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Despite it being this movie. And it's like, it's almost worth watching this movie.
Just for him.
Just to watch him be in it, like being good in this movie. If you can be good in this movie, I mean,
give him an Oscar.
Why
already.
does he not?
Yeah.
Why is he not in every other movie that comes out? It's horrific.
That's
but
funny.
anyway, it's so awful, and that's my 8.
And that's 8. So where Space Cadet was my 9, we're gonna stay with the same theme. I wrote it down initially as Intersandler, like Interstellar. Remember Spaceman Remember, and this is a bummer.
Yeah,
Adam Sandler.
I think that might count as the movie that I blocked from my mind because that should be on my list. It's
Adam
awful.
Sandler, Paul Dano, Carey Mulligan. Like you normally wouldn't put one of those with the other two. I like all 3 of them almost all the time.
Right.
This film was just, I mean, it was just awful and stupid, and I felt insulted. I felt like it was really
exactly.
I felt like it kept looking at me from behind the curtain of the theater and going, he's still here.
He's still watching
He's
this.
still watching this.
Right.
Can you believe it? And they're like, check and see if he's sleeping. Like, I got duped. I got duped into that.
It is. And I'll just say real quick, I have to totally give you that movie as like the one that got lost off my list because I wasn't even paying attention. I successfully blocked that movie from my mind.
I wish I could have done that.
And not only is it just as horrible as you're saying, but also it is really like somebody caught some, you know, I don't know, like a Twilight Zone episode that never aired.
Right.
And went, oh my God, this is the greatest thing ever. And I'm going to make it into,
we're going to refilm it
into a whole movie.
We have all the technology.
And then they find out that it was like, you know, the Twilight Zone writers were like having a laugh.
Screwing around. Right? What's the worst thing we can do? Let's come up with Dianetics.
Right.
Like, let's pretend to invent a religion. 8 for me is Spaceman. 7 for me, keeping with comedians, is Unfrosted, the Jerry Seinfeld Pop-Tart story.
Yeah.
I think someone could argue that is supposed to be a film for a typical, like, just cable-friendly audience. I don't care. It's dumb. It's stupid. It's low-hanging. It goes for the worst jokes, especially if Seinfeld is in it. With being a fan of the show for as long as you are, you expect, whether you're right or you're wrong, you expect the humor to be not mature, but keener.
Right.
And it's just not. It's a dull object that hits you with it and thinks it's being funny
It
under
it
the guise of being like the
it
1950s and
it
60s,
is
and it isn't.
it is really
It's just bad.
like,
So
um
that's my 7.
and, whatever, we talked about this movie, so, we're not gonna totally rehash anything, but, it is like Melissa McCarthy and, and in keeping with the
Yeah.
worst of her movies, and it's like her and Seinfeld were like, "Look, man, stupid people need movies to
Entertainment
watch
too.
too, right?"
Right.
So, here you go. Yeah,
So we're gonna give him 1.
yeah, it's
So
really
that
bad.
was mine.
Okay,
Your
that's
7.
your 7.
Yep.
My 7 was Unfrosted. That's
Okay.
really weird.
All right. That is weird, but I mean, sometimes we're
Landed
right.
right
Yeah.
right at the same place.
They've
My
gotta
7 is Unfrosted, and for all those
make
reasons,
sense.
it's really pretty horrible. My 6 is Venom: The Last Dance.
Yeah.
And
I'm surprised it was that high.
and that movie, well, like I said, the
But I mean,
numbers just don't
right, they
mean
gotta
anything to me. But
yeah.
the first 2 movies were bad,
Yeah.
but and the second movie, I mean, like I say, it's really just, you're comparing garbage. This garbage is better than
I
that
know.
garbage.
I know. It
But
doesn't stink as bad.
the first movie at least had some times in it where you were like, all right, this is a little fun.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it had some moments where it was like, actually pulling you along.
Yeah.
He was pretty good in it. I feel like really he was pissed that he had to make this one. Watching this movie and watching him be in it,
Yeah.
I really got the impression, maybe he loves this movie, I don't know, but watching
Right.
him do it seemed like a guy who was like, okay, these bastards are going to force me to be in this movie that I don't want to be in and give me a big check. All
Right.
right, here
Right.
you
Here
go,
we go.
bitch. I'm here. Like, he
Right.
just did not seem like he was into it.
Oh man.
And this one just had none of it had no like little moments that you could go, okay, at least I want to stop killing myself for a few minutes, right?
Right.
Like, it had no fun bits.
Yeah.
The things that were kind of supposed to be fun bits were really stupid.
Mm,
And it, I don't know. It was just like, I mean, just never should have been made. Like, you already
yeah.
tanked with the second one.
Yeah.
Why are you still going? I don't know.
Yeah.
But it was really awful. Okay, so that's
your
my
6.
7 and 6.
My 6 is I'm up to 6. 6 for me was Jackpot. A bit of a difference here between us. I kept the ratings. You didn't hate it as much. You gave it a 5. I gave it a 1.
Nearly as much.
I gave it a 1. I like John Cena's transition into acting enough. I think he's playing fun stuff and he's willing to make fun of himself. I pretty much hate Awkwafina in every single thing she's been in, except the one time she played a straight drama role. She was absolutely phenomenal in that.
Right.
But this film by Paul Feig, who somehow is convincing people he's a good filmmaker.
Right.
I mean, he made Bridesmaids, and I still think it's one of the best comedies of all time. But man, all the missteps that he's been doing, and I don't know, maybe there's something that I'm just not getting. It might be like Tom Green. I just don't get it.
Right.
I loathed that film, and when I was looking at the list, I'm like remembering how much I just dislike the way Awkwafina ruins almost everything she's in. So that was my 6. 5 for me, pretty easy. Argyle. Argyle is everything you said. I don't have anything to top it except that the funny note that I made is I absolutely have no memory of this movie. Except for the things that you brought up. Sam Rockwell,
anything that happened,
the goofy mustaches, just Henry Cavill. Like,
there's a cat in it.
There's a cat in it.
Right.
Like the brief sort of. If you asked me to describe my favorite episode of Inspector Gadget, I'd be like, well, Dr. Evil does something, and Penny and Brain. I don't know. You know the one I mean, right?
Right.
Argyle, I have no memory of it. So that's my 5.
All right. All right. My 5 is where I've got my tie.
Yep. Right.
And it kind of interesting to me in a weird way that they're both like these dark gothic movies, right?
Oh, okay.
So one of them is Nosferatu.
Good.
Which is just horrible, and I don't want to hear why you like it anymore. Yeah. if you like it, I don't care.
I just got into this argument 2 days ago.
Go play in the road. You're not going to convince me
right.
That it's good, and I've heard all the reasons people think that it's good, and I think all of the reasons that I've seen people say it's good, are BS.
Yeah.
I've read like a ton of positive reviews of this, and all of them are like, I mean, look how shiny this is.
Atmosphere and
And I'm
I'm like,
like, what?
yep,
But anyway,
yep.
the story's really stupid. The conclusion of the story is really stupid. It does look great.
Yeah.
It has kind of cool sound, but it has cool sound, I bet, if you're in a better theater.
Yeah.
If you're like in a really good theater, maybe it has great sound.
Mhm.
Because in our theater, and I think our theater's
Our
fine
theater is
enough,
fine.
right?
I just think,
But the sound was mostly weird. The things that people are going, "Oh, that was so cool." I'm like, why did a dish fall in my kitchen?
yeah,
It's not how now it's
right,
awesome. Now it's a
right.
great movie. I don't know. It was so goofball and corny,
Yep.
and this was like 10 minutes of editing software away from being a complete farcical joke of itself.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
put this on Mystery Science Theater 3000, they don't have to work at all. Like,
Right.
I
Right.
I don't know. I couldn't stand it.
So that's 5A.
And 5B is The Crow, which
Oh, I
was
guess I didn't see that coming.
really bad,
Yeah.
but also just
Interesting.
insulting
Yeah.
to the original.
Yeah.
And why? Nobody wanted this movie.
Yeah. That's right.
And you can tell
That's right.
because only people who worked on this movie went to see it. Like nobody went to see this movie.
Yeah.
Nobody wanted this movie.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I will say that there are times when it's like Bill Skarsgård is in this. He's not too bad,
Yeah.
but also he has like a totally weird spin on the character anyway. And I
Yeah.
don't know if that's him or the director, or whoever's in charge of telling him who to try to be, but
Right.
it's a little weird and um not, in my opinion, related to either original
Yeah.
material or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like it's like you know looking at this movie and going, a lot of people like this, and I could totally make it a million times better
Right.
by it being a different story. And it's
Yeah.
funny because like we say that all the time, but then we also bag on people for saying that, right? We always say, I could make this movie
We can
better.
fix this in 10 minutes.
But what I mean is I could
Right.
do this story better,
Right.
not I had know a better version of this
Right.
story that
Right.
I made.
Or sometimes we'll say things when we see like just such a weird mistake. Like, we can fix your movie. Like,
Right,
it's a
right.
simple plot thing. You made this mistake, or
Right,
you left that open, or why wouldn't you do that? Or if you're invulnerable, eat that, or like just something dumb.
Right.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
that's
anyway,
funny.
but it was awful, and it was kinda hard to watch just because it was so, like
Yeah, that's interesting.
when you get done with that movie, you're like, "Why did you do this?"
Yeah.
Like, you didn't.
I feel like that's one that, I mean, I understand they're going to remake Superman and Batman all the time for the rest of our lives.
Right.
And the rest of whoever's listening's lives. I feel like The Crow is in a perpetual, like, somebody's always going to come along and be like, man, we got to make that good version. And they're going to keep
Right.
doing it this way.
All right, so that's my 5.
Yep.
But so my 4
Yeah.
is Rebel Moon 2 Scargiver. And I have to say, this one is weird. This couldn't get any lower than 4.
Rebel Moon
When
2.
I was like screwing with my thing, right?
Yeah.
Because as bad as this movie was,
Yeah.
and I kept going, come on, it's worse than that. It's horrible. It's
Right.
trash, right? But battling against that was how much fun it was to watch this movie
Is it?
and just sit there and go, this jackass thinks this is a good movie.
Yeah.
It was actually really fun to watch the dialogue, the like scene construction, the plot of this movie,
Yeah.
and just go, you think this is good. it was actually kind of fun.
Oh, man.
Because really I hate him.
Yeah, Zach's I mean, I guess he's still touch or go with people, but when that got announced, when the Rebel Moon stuff, and it just said, imagine if the director and creator of 300 and Justice League, if he could do Star Wars, and I'm like, great. That's not going to go very well with me, but
it's so ridiculous.
Interesting.
Anyway,
right.
so
that's your 4. 4 for me is the new the new M. Night film, Trap. Um,
Oh god.
Trap with, uh Trap with all the trapping. I mean, there's so many easy ways to work trap into it. I it's M. Night's got a weird spot. I don't believe anything he says anymore. He could come in soaking wet, be like, "It's raining," and I gotta
Right.
look out the window. I did kinda like when, Batista and everyone else did the recent Cabin film. I thought that was the closest to being a good movie that he's doing again. I really miss Josh Hartnett. I really like
Uh,
that guy as an actor. It was great to see him um, in a bunch of earlier films, and he's starting to come back now. This is a sad misstep because he's good in it, but he's asked to do a lot of stupid things, and the filmmaking in it is so absolute basic pedestrian. Knight thinks he's doing something with all these strange close-ups, and it's just awkward. Aside from all that, he gets the weird like Godfather 3 award for putting his daughter in the film. They're all going to a concert, and his daughter, M. Night's real daughter, is actually like making a music video, and he's basically just making this movie to highlight her singing career he wants to take off. I can't tell you how much I hate that too. Anyway, it was number 4 for me.
yeah.
So that was awful. Am I up to 3? Do I go
Yeah.
back to back? I do.
Yeah.
3. 3 might not be that surprising. Gladiator 2 was just a bad movie. That's what I wrote down. It's just a bad movie. It tries to regurgitate too many things without being original, and it's just a bad movie.
Yeah.
That's
Gladiator
it.
2 for me, just to throw it out, because it's not on my list,
Yeah.
is it was really, really bad. It didn't quite make it on my list.
Gladiator 2, for anyone keeping track, because like I said, I wrote down the scores. It's actually higher rated than some of the things that I've rated above and below it.
Right.
But it doesn't matter. Like, it's just, why make this? Why did you do like? So that was my 3rd.
All right. My number 3 is Megalopolis, which
Yeah.
could, and I will say, with our whole list and everything, 2 and 3 are like, I spent so much time going, which one of these is 2 and which one is 3, that it's,
You're numb to it now. It doesn't matter.
It
Yeah.
doesn't make
No, I
any
know.
difference. But Megalopolis was awful in so many ways. The story is so stupid. Everything that happens in this movie is so clearly like one dude thinking he's the smartest person who ever lived, and I'm gonna make a movie and like teach you humans or something.
Right, because I've evolved.
And now you'll
Yeah,
know.
right, and yeah,
now
you will know.
Now you'll know humans.
Yeah,
It's so garbagely weird.
yeah,
And the worst part of this for me, right, is and specifically because I have a philosophy degree, right?
right.
The worst part of this is if somebody did this dumbass movie thing,
Yeah,
and in the end what they were going to get out of it was something that's like graduate level philosophy,
right.
I would go, all right, fine. You're trying to take something that's like a really complicated thing and you're trying to, put it into something that people can like watch in a couple hours and, have this thing or whatever.
Yeah.
This is like what you
No.
get out of it is
Yeah.
like a bumper sticker.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like maybe it's philosophy 101 or something, but it's so just stupid, simple garbage
Yeah.
of an end game, right? You get to the end of this movie and you're like, no
Yeah.
way. That is
Right.
what the whole thing
That's
was.
what we did. Yeah.
And I have not seen a movie in a long time in a theater where at the end of it, all the people around us got up and were like more pissed than we were.
Right.
And we're like,
That's
going,
true.
what in the hell did I just, there were like so many
Almost
actual
everybody.
vocal people
Yeah.
pissed
That's a
that
good
they
memory.
had watched this movie.
I remember that.
I was like, damn.
Yeah, we looked at each other. We
that's-
kept quiet on the
that's
way out.
big,
We
man.
finished our drink, threw it away, got into the hall, and we're like,
Yeah.
wow,
That
that was hard.
it was weird.
Yeah.
But like,
That's
and
funny, I
nothing
remember
works. Like nothing could be like
Yeah.
the save of it either. I
Yep.
mean, is Adam Driver good in it? I mean, I guess he is, but it's hard to judge.
Right.
Because
Right,
it's
what are you going to put it up against?
yeah. Anyway, so that's my 3.
Yep.
And then I'm supposed to do
Yep.
3 and 2.
Your
I
2.
guess. My 2 is Reagan.
Oh, the
Which
Quaid?
Yeah,
Yeah, right,
which
right,
is,
right.
the
That's good.
weirdest thing, that I have ever watched in a theater, that
Yeah,
actually was in a theater.
right.
It was a psychotically weird movie. It reminded me of,
That's interesting.
remember, like, during the first, like, Trump, administration,
Yeah,
and I am so blanking on all this stuff because I blocked it all out of my
right,
mind, but
right.
there was, like, some guy who he funded his wife making this complete crap movie that was on
I
The Room
vaguely
level
yeah, I
or
vaguely
something
remember
that was,
this.
like, really horrible. Anyway,
Right,
it
that's hard
was,
to pull out, but yeah, I do.
it was like that
That.
if you had, like,
Jeez.
if you had actual, like, professional people making it, though,
Right,
you know?
right.
It's like that level, but you got, like, another level because you got
Wow.
people
Yeah,
in
that's
it or,
rough.
whatever. It's like this whole just psycho fan fiction Reagan
Yeah,
account of his life where, all of a sudden it's like Reagan was like the greatest hero of everything.
right.
Everything that happened during that 8 years was like a direct,
Sure.
like
Positive
he
result.
was responsible for
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
Like, you almost are surprised that he didn't, like, literally do everything.
right,
He flew here, he flew
right.
there, he
Yeah,
pushed this button, like,
right,
he was directly responsible. Like, everything good that happened
yeah,
for, like, a decade,
right.
you could trace back. No matter what happened in your life,
Yeah,
it was he did it
right,
somehow,
right.
right?
Yeah,
And then it's got, like, it even has this whole, like, thing where the Iran Contra thing
yeah,
was, you know, more or less practically like fake news witch hunt. Like,
yeah. Right, right,
you'd think that Trump and his constant witch hunt
right.
calls were responsible for it or
Yeah.
something. Like, it was just so weird.
It's
And it's
propaganda,
like
you know?
it's totally propaganda, and it's like there's no, eh, ultimately there's he's not a person at all. It was
Yeah,
so weird to
that's
watch.
weird.
It is,
I was a little curious because I liked Dennis Quaid as an actor. I don't know if I still do, not because of his choices, but just I don't know if he can still perform the way I remember him performing.
right,
But I saw that ad for it and the trailer for it, and I went, I mean, I'm gonna probably laugh through this film, but it would be
right.
good to see Dennis doing something, and
Right.
I never got to it. So
Yeah,
I don't think I'm going
and Dennis,
to.
not that we need to talk about this,
Yeah,
but he is, like, completely, like, weird now
yeah,
in a very special way because you have to go back and look at all these earlier movies he made,
mhm,
and one, like, did he hate making those?
right, right,
Like, he's made
yeah,
all these movies with, like, all these positive
yeah,
messages and,
right,
various
yeah,
characters or something.
sure,
Like, it, still says on his, I mean, like, really, like, not even like this is a fun family film, but, like,
right,
he's made all these movies with, like, really,
yeah,
like, liberal views
yeah,
and stuff, and
yep,
I don't know,
yeah.
it's really weird. Anyway, so that's my 2.
That's your 2. 2 for me, easy, Megalopolis, 0 out of 0 for both of us. I just it is the easiest way to describe it because I'm not gonna add anything more than this simple sort of tack on. It's the anti-Citizen Kane. Just it was this personal singular vision that was funded and brought forth and is absolutely awful.
Right.
It's just awful. Number 1 for me, eh, I honestly had to think about whether or not Megalopolis was worse than this, but Joker 2.
Yeah.
And for me, I know we're trying to be a kid-friendly show, but the only thing I could write down as just as sort of a quick blurb for it is if shit could shit, this would be it. It's just it's just awful all the way through. I hated the first film, so it's no surprise I didn't like this one. I don't care if you make it a musical or not. I don't care if you extend the running time. I don't care if you bring new characters in that are supposed to be in Gotham or the Arkham games. Does not matter. Todd Phillips's vision and version of this is bad enough. Every once in a while, I'm aware of my bias to know that one of the things that fueled a bit of hate for this film is how much people love it. The fact that like the art house crowd that have never seen anything in sci-fi or fantasy or comic book films, and there are good, great films in that genre, in those genres. They settled on this because it made them comfortable enough to accept superheroes and villains. The fact that they applaud this just pisses me off. Just annoys the hell out of me. The worst film I saw last year,
Yeah,
Joker 2.
and that's my number 1 too.
Is it
It's
really?
not
Okay. Oh,
that's
that's
not
cool.
probably
It's not
not
that
hard to
far.
figure out, but,
Um,
yeah, and not only that, but again, as our worst list, wraps up and we keep saying the same thing about every movie, uh, the biggest, I guess, thing to hate for me in this movie
yeah.
is how great it thinks it is.
Yeah,
This movie is constantly
absolutely.
telling you that it is the
Look at me.
greatest thing
Yeah,
ever, that it's not just some superhero movie.
right,
Like, it almost, like, thumbs its nose
right.
at the fact
Says we're better than that.
that it is unfortunately forced to be
Mhm.
close to superhero movies, you know?
Yep.
And every, like, step of the way that it will do something and then do it again
Yeah.
because
Yep.
it has to explain it to you.
Yep.
It's like the movie almost, or at least a lot of the running time almost happens twice because
Yep.
it does so many things where it does this thing and then it goes, "Now, hold on, look
Yeah.
at this again
Yep.
because you're not quite getting how great this
Right.
is, and
Let me hold your hand.
I have to
I'm gonna
show it
point
to
it to
you
you.
again."
Let me point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so bad on, like, every level. It
Even
thinks it's great,
yeah.
and I can't think of a movie that thinks you're more stupid,
Yeah.
than this movie, or that you're not even worthy of itness. I mean,
The
unless it's
right, I
Megalopolis.
guess that I mean, yeah. In order for it to succeed, it wants to believe that it's subversive and it's flipping the genre's worst things onto its head and showing you the best of what it's capable of. I would argue that the very end of this film proves that it doesn't have any faith in its own sort of metric.
Right,
Like, it literally didn't think that it could carry a tune emotionally or narratively, so it went for the cheapest low-hanging fruit of like, "Oh, I bet you didn't see this coming."
right,
And I kinda saw it coming because 'cause you're an idiot, and this
right.
isn't that good of a movie.
Yeah.
So, man, what a dog that
Yeah,
film is.
it was, really it was a
Jeez.
painful year in,
It was a
many ways,
painful
right?
year.
And so, like I said
Yeah,
at the beginning, there were more movies that I hated
yeah,
worse than I usually do, even if there wasn't like 30 movies that I was trying to figure out which were the worst, but still it had some of the worst movies. I
yeah,
think, but really, if I start making a worst of the decade,
yeah.
like at least
There's some
4 of
contenders
these
here.
have
There's
to
some
be on it,
contenders.
right?
I
It's
always look at our list. I know we're getting out of here. I always look at our list right when we're done. I never, it doesn't matter. It's just my mental gymnastics. But I always go, okay, that's your worst. Now you have to go watch one right now. Which one would you pick? And I'm like, jeez. I'll go watch The Parenting again. Brian Cox is so bad. I mean, he's so good in a
Oh.
bad film. But I always just look at it and be like, could I stomach Space Cadet or Spaceman or Unfrosted or Jackpot? I guess I could maybe watch.
If I had to watch
You
one of
have
the
to watch one
if I
right
had
now.
to watch one of these movies right now, it'd be Argyle. 'Cause I'll sit through that
I guess
again.
I could do that too. I
It
guess
would
I could do
not
that
be
too.
that painful,
Man,
and I
what a
try to think
rough.
Axel F is only 10, but it
Yeah,
would be harder for me to sit that would be a worse movie the second time around to
yeah, it
have to
would.
sit through that again.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyway,
So
alright.
that's our list.
There's, all the movies you should not see,
Y'all,
for the year.
if you guys make lists, if guys and gals make lists, send them.
Yeah,
I'd love to see the audience's lists, or even if you have a peccadillo with us. Who
right,
says peccadillo? But if you have a gripe with us for our list, I want to hear that too.
right.
I love it when people are like, "What are you guys thinking? Joker 2 is a masterpiece." You know,
Yeah,
tell me.
except Nosferatu. I
Yeah,
don't if
you're embargoing any
Yeah, if you
emails.
wanna comment on that one, you could just go, "No, Nosferatu's good," and then we'll wave at
Done.
each other from across
Yeah,
the room, and that's all that needs to
we'll
happen.
pretend we know each other.
I don't need any
Yeah,
of the, reasoning behind it or
yeah,
anything like that. But, thanks for tuning in. Next week
yeah.
is going to be
Oh, I
our
can't win.
awards. We've gotta do our
Oh
Can't
boy.
Win awards,
Yeah, I haven't
and
done it
that
yet.
is pretty rough this year.
Yeah,
And if you're not
that'd
familiar,
be hard.
subscribe and like us and whatever bell thing you hit
Yeah,
on YouTube,
yeah,
whatever all of
right.
the possible options are. Because if you don't know, our awards are we give an award to the top 5
Yep.
categories, for things that were at least really good.
Yeah.
Maybe they weren't the greatest thing ever, but really have no chance of winning an award
Yeah.
or probably even being nominated for
Hard. Yeah.
award. And just give those things some attention.
Little
That's
recognition.
yeah.
Yeah. We like that.
And then next week we'll also have Sinners.
It's also a good thing to do because ending the lists on the worst kind of does leave a talcum taste in your mouth. Like let's give an award. Let's give people something that
Right.
makes them feel good. So
Let's be happy at
let's be
something.
happy.
All right. Thanks for tuning
Yeah.
in, and we'll see you next week.
Right.
Thanks.
Bye.